I'm Rob Bergmann. I'm the CEO of Relevant Gold and co-founder, and I'm going to take you through our compelling investment thesis in Wyoming. We trade on the venture exchange under the ticker RGC, as well as over-the-counter in the U.S. under RGCCF. And we are developing Abitibi scale potential in Wyoming, and we'll get into that. But before we do, we've got some disclaimers here, forward-looking statements. I encourage you all to do your due diligence. We are an early-stage explorer with a high degree of risk. And before we get into Wyoming, we're just going to have a quick look at the Abitibi. I assume most folks in this room are very familiar with the Abitibi Gold Belt. If you're not, I can remind you that it has produced well over 200 million ounces of gold in the last 150 plus years. And all of that gold came out of these east-west anastomosing Archean belts, where you can see clusters of high-grade, deep-rooted gold deposits. Again, being one of the most prolific, highest grade, and deepest deposits on Earth. And what are they? They're orogenic gold systems, and that's what we're going after. Why? Because these are some of the richest, highest grade deposits on Earth. They stand the test of market cycles and have accounted for over a third of the world's global gold production. So as you look to explore for these things, it's critical to understand how they form. And really, you need three things to form an orogenic system of scale. First, you need your source fluid. This is deep rooted in the Earth's crust, where you're accumulating precious metals. You're amalgamating the gold, the silver, and all the various metals in the Earth's crust. And then you need your second thing, which is a pathway. This happens during your major tectonic events, your plates crashing together, mountain building events, where you're forming these deep suture zones into the Earth's crust and allowing that mineralized fluid to upwell into the Earth's crust, where it searches for the third thing it needs, which is a trap. And this comes from favorable host rocks and structural traps in these secondary shears. And that's where the gold is happy precipitating out in these typically near vertical, very extensive high-grade deposits. And so really our thesis started by standing on the shoulders of giants, some really, really intelligent academic geologists who have continually published this connection of Wyoming to the Abitibi gold belts at this critical time of mineralization, about 2.6 billion years ago, when all the gold came into both systems. Later, at 2.1 billion years, you had your major tectonic rifting that moved these provinces apart to where they presently reside, taking all that gold with it. And this is when we started to look at Wyoming as having tremendous overlooked potential. And we truly believe and continue to strengthen this thesis with all the work we've done that Wyoming is an extension of the Abitibi gold belts. And now we'll get into that. And with this thesis, so this is actually from the academic literature, and you can see these east-west anastomosing Archean belts cutting across the state of Wyoming. And we do have very, very clear age dates of these systems. And we've basically established and taken almost complete control of two major camp scale areas. Our South Pass camp is our flagship district, where 4 of our 5 district scale assets are at. And about 150 kilometers to the east is our Bradley Peak camp. And again, this is, the Oregon Trail structural belt. It's very similar to your Dester Porcupine, your Cadillac Lauder Lake Break, where these big deposits in the Abitibi have formed. And all along this belt, there was a significant amount of historic gold mining, but it really hasn't been looked at in, the last, in some areas, 100 plus years. So to give you some perspective on scale, our South Pass camp, again, this is our flagship area. It's about 45 kilometers end to end. So when you start to look at the scale of that as it compares to the Abitibi, you can draw that box around any major camp in the Abitibi, and it engulfs multiple major discoveries. And they're still making discoveries today. So our portfolio, 5 truly district scale assets across these 2 camps. We've been systematically developing these projects since about 2016 throughout the state. Lewiston and Golden Buffalo are our 2 flagship assets. None of our assets have ever seen any drilling prior to our work out here. And we drilled Golden Buffalo in 2022, 3,500 meters, 26 holes. And 54% of those holes intersected shear-hosted gold mineralization with our top drill intercept of 83.8 grams per ton over a meter. And this was following up as a step out to some very high-grade surface trenching we did. And I encourage you to come by the booth and take a look at some of those samples, as there is a significant amount of coarse visible gold to see. From then, proof of concept, orogenic system at Golden Buffalo. We moved over to Lewiston, where we've got some other targets along a 10-kilometer shear zone corridor that's laced with high-grade gold at surface. And we drilled 1,500 meters into that target this year. Those results are coming in any week now, so stay tuned for that. But we did intersect these shear zones at depth. We saw significant veining alteration and remnant sulfide mineralization, so we're very encouraged with what we're seeing. It is certainly a big orogenic system that we're really looking forward to following up on more this year. In addition, our portfolio saw a lot of regional work this year. We had a pretty thin budget with the current market conditions, but we were able to stretch that very far and generated 6 new district scale targets at some of our non-flagship assets at Bradley Peak, where we sampled high-grade silver, gold, and copper, as well as our Shield Carissa, where we've defined a pretty extensive structural corridor, again, laced with some high-grade gold at surface. And all of this comes back to our approach. We're a very technical group. We like to focus on what we can control, which is doing good technical work, being smart with our money. We can't control the markets, unfortunately. And so you can see that throughout time, we've been very diligent about systematically developing this portfolio, moving it up the value cycle into that discovery phase, which is where we truly see the upside we're looking for. And all that work to date has really proved our concept. We're checking all the boxes for big orogenic systems of scale across multiple projects. We have very high-grade gold, both at surface and at depth. We're in the right types of rocks, the right age of structures. And we're in Wyoming, which is an incredible place to operate. I've had the good fortune of working in most jurisdictions in North America, and I'd say Wyoming is probably second to Nevada in the U.S. as far as permitting is concerned. And we are seeing some other projects developing mines as we speak out there. So looking at the money behind us, we've got a very sophisticated group backing us. Myself and co-founder Brian Lentz are still the largest shareholders. We participate in every round and continue to buy in the open market because we do truly believe in this thesis. In addition to that, Rob McEwen took a 6.4% stake, and New Gold has a 9.9% interest as well. We've got 62 million shares out, so we are very tightly held and a relatively new company, as we only listed about 1.5 years ago. Looking at our team, from top to bottom, board level down to the boots on the ground team, we've assembled an incredible group that we're really proud of. A lot of these folks you probably know. Dr. Peter McGaw, who's actually been a mentor of mine since university. He's led the discovery of one of the world's richest silver mines. Sarah Weber, she's based here in Vancouver, and she's an absolute powerhouse. Ron Parrott, he's led the discovery of over 20 million ounces of gold in Nevada and really has a lot of experience in high-grade gold systems. And some of our shining stars are these technical advisors down here as well. All of these PhD geologists that have specific experience in orogenic systems, in Abitibi systems, and then Dr. Kevin Chamberlain on the end here, who's out of the University of Wyoming, and one of the main authors that's published numerous scientific literature on this connection of Wyoming and the Abitibi. So we had a really good year. As I mentioned, we stretched the buck, and we got a lot out of our work program. Our team did an incredible job. We did everything safely, and we got 1,500 meters of drilling done at our Lewiston project at our heavy hand target. Again, those results should be coming in any day now. And we've been focusing on refining and building more targets across the portfolio. This is a very big idea. It's a very big land package. And so again, systematically developing that pipeline of discovery opportunities. We started a big regional soil sampling program at South Pass. We covered our Golden Buffalo project, and we'll continue to move forward with that as the 2024 season opens back up. Our mapping and rock chip sampling has identified, again, a number of really high-grade targets. And in addition to that, the state of Wyoming has just finished up at the end of the year flying an airborne geophysical program, and we should have that data within the next month or so. So ultimately, at Relevant Gold, we think we've got a very strong value proposition. We've got a really well-rounded team of proven value creators, and we're focused on a much bigger concept of unlocking a potential new mega district with Abitibi-like potential. 5 district scale assets across 2 camps, totaling over 40,000 acres of ground. We've got very high-grade gold at surface, as well as in the drill holes at depth, and we're really just getting started. 1,500 meters. Again, those results should be coming in any day now. And our work continues to define new, highly prospective shear zones across the entire camp that support this Abitibi thesis in Wyoming. And our biggest goal is really just to create a continuum, a pipeline of district-scale discovery opportunities throughout the beautiful state of Wyoming, where it's very, very, very wonderful to operate. And with that, a summation of the opportunity from one of our illustrious board members, Dr. Peter McGaugh.
I've been on the ground. I've seen the gold. I've hacked the gold out of the rock myself. They've taken a new concept that changes how we think about Wyoming completely. And anytime you can apply a really revolutionary idea like that and then be able to tie up a big piece of it in an area where you know you can work, that's a remarkable opportunity under today's circumstances.
So yeah, with that, I say join us for the next big discovery in Wyoming. Come check out the booth, talk to our Chief Exploration Officer and co-founder, Brian Lentz. We've got lots of maps, technical information. Happy to take everybody through it. And thanks again for having me.